It was an eye-opening broadcast from the Belleville office of the South African Social Security Agency, SASSA. We have, of course, were there from very, very early. We spoke to people who said they even slept overnight. During our broadcast there, we spoke to a number of people applying for grants who've been waiting for updates. We spoke to civil society. We spoke to the chairperson of the portfolio committee on social development, on some of the issues that's affecting the SASSA and how we can improve. I'm joined now by Paseka Letsatsi, is the spokesperson for the South African Social Security Agency. Good morning, Paseka. Really appreciate your time. I'll start by saying that there was concession from civil society representatives, from the Oversight Committee, that SASSA has been and is one of the government agencies that has been affected by a slash budget, or a budget that has not grown or is affected when it comes to inflation, and that staffing issues in terms of organizational structure, even the technology that is used is affected by those budget cuts. But it doesn't take away from the fact, from what we saw and what many people experience, it does feel that SASSA as an agency is struggling, particularly to help and deal with issues around the dignity of people having to wait, particularly overnight. Paseka, good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. I see the bad weather is welcoming me in Cape Town. You basically correct, and I think as we work together with the civil society, with other interest groups, we think we can then be able to do better. You are also quite right that whether there are budget cuts or whatever that is there, we need to make sure that the dignity of people is preserved. And in this instance, we have taken a decision as management to make sure that we take other advices from the society and make sure that we work together. We also want to advise people, as much as we understand in some instances it may be a level of desperation to get a grant, because we understand that when you apply for the grant, you actually vulnerable and you need to be helped. To make sure that we respect certain things, we'll embark on a serious campaign, communication campaign, so that we understand that the office in Belleville, as much as it attracts other feeders around, Lester, when you offer good services, everybody around will definitely flock to you so that they get services as well.
And yes, it is desperation, and I would appreciate when people realize or say, I'm going to SASSA tomorrow, knowing it will be the first time that they are approaching there, and they'll add to the queue, not knowing that there may be a specific day for a child support grant or an old age grant or a disability grant, and they'll simply just join the queue. And that will, of course, look like there are plenty of people waiting outside from early hours of the morning. But when does the responsibility, or how much responsibility does SASSA take when it says we're communicating a message? If this is your first time to apply for a grant, you come on this day. If you are applying for a disability grant, these are the days that you come, or this is the booking procedure, or to tell people, well, there's an online system that you can use. Just how much does the SASSA invest in those communications channels?
It does, but we thought we can do more, and we have identified that as one of the aspects that we need to make sure that we concentrate on. And I think what we need to do is to partner with the civil society. As I said earlier on, we have to make sure that we go to communities. There are channels available to make sure that this information it goes to where it's supposed to go, to the communities, so that they know as communities that there are specific days which are basically designated for certain grant type. Communication is never enough, Lester. We need to make sure that we upscale it. We need to make sure that even if on a daily basis we need to package it so that everybody understands. And I think it can be done. It can be successful. We also need to invest more in our infrastructure so that people understand as well that they can as well explore the online application. We need to make sure that when you talk about the queue management, we do it and people understand it. And in this instance, we are appealing and we appreciate the program here. We appreciate your program that you are giving us as a platform to make sure that we communicate to our people.
It was on Tuesday after we had broadcast that we saw a press release from the Department of Social Development, the ministry, saying that the CEO of SASSA, Busisiwe Memela Kabula, has been suspended, probing or pending a probe into her appointment. Is this in any way connected to the level of service, or is that simply connected to how she was appointed to the position? What is the basis for her suspension?
It is basically connected to the fact that there was a complaint which was lodged with the public protector in terms of the process leading towards her appointment. There was an engagement between the ministry and the CEO, who in this instance had to respond to certain questions. And upon getting a report from her, some of the questions which were posed had to be probed further. And it is the responsible minister who understood that when you embark on a further investigation, especially with these allegations, you need to make sure that you protect her interest. You also protect the interest of the beneficiary so that the payment goes without hindrance or you don't necessarily cause panic. Hence, the CEO was put on precautionary suspension.
Paseka Letsatsi, SASSA spokesperson, really appreciate your time.